So we're back with another video. So now we have VirtualBox set up that lets us run images within our computer. So a computer within a computer, basically ripping off Inception. So we want to adjust our Kali Linux machine to make it run as smooth as possible. To do that, we want to make sure that there's enough RAM and CPU cores. So first we want to check how much our current computer has so we know how much to allocate to our mini computer. To do that, you want to go to Task Manager by pressing Ctrl-Alt-Delete. Click Task Manager, and that should bring up this prompt. So then you can select the Performance tab, and this will show us what type of CPU we have. So currently I have a i7, and if you click the Memory tab, we can see how much total RAM our CPU has. So in this case, I have 16 gigabytes. So you just want to keep these values in mind, an i7 as well as a 16 gigabyte RAM. So we can go ahead and close this and go back to VirtualBox. And we want to make sure our Kali 1 machine is highlighted. We want to click Settings, go down to System, and then we want to adjust our base memory. So this is where we adjust RAM within our Kali Linux machine. I usually like to set it to 1/4 of my maximum RAM. So because I have 16, I want to give it 4 gigabytes of RAM. You can give it however much your computer does. You can use the 1/4 rule, or you can adjust it based on whether it's slow or fast. And then we want to click Processor. And I usually just give it 2 cores. That works fine for me. I've had no issues or lag with that. So we can go ahead and click, one last thing. So after setting it to 4096, you want to make sure that whatever RAM you set is set properly into in an interval of 2. So you either want to put 512 megabytes for 500 MBs of RAM, 1024 for 1 gigabyte of RAM, 2048 for 2 gigs of RAM, and so on and so on. You just want to keep on doubling that value. It's just how computer architecture works. You just want to optimize how much RAM you are utilizing. So we can go ahead and click OK. And now we want to do some networking. So we want to make sure that our Kali Linux machine can send data to our vulnerable machine. We haven't downloaded or set up our vulnerable machine yet, but we will get to that in the next video. But first we want to make sure that we put the Kali Linux machine on its own separate network, so we're not sending exploits out to anyone else and harming any other computers or servers. So we can go to File and then Preferences. And here we can go and click Network. And here I already have these 2 networks set up, but you want to click Add New NAT Network, and this new NAT network will be created. So make sure to have this highlighted, and you want to click Edit Selected NAT Network. So you can give this any name you want. We can just make it Test 1. And we can click OK, and we're good to go. Test_1. So we can click OK. So what this does is set up a completely new NAT network, its own virtual network, and we can assign that network and put any machine we want to inside. So we can just highlight Kali Linux, go into Settings, go into Network, and make sure Enable Network Adapter is on. We want to choose NAT Network for this, and make sure that we highlight Test 1. And this is also very important. We want to go to Advanced Options and make sure Promiscuous Mode is set to allow all. This will make sure that all the machines inside this network will be able to talk to each other. And we can leave the rest of these settings by default and click OK. So now that our Kali Linux is successfully inside its own NAT network, and this will give it access to the internet as well as access to the vulnerable machine. So what this does is put your Kali Linux machine in a separate network that goes directly to whatever NIC or access your local machine has. AKA, if your main computer doesn't have internet access or whatever access your current computer has, your Kali Linux machine will get the exact same access except on its own mini network. I know it can get quite complicated, but just hang in there, it'll all make sense soon. Thanks for listening.